Hey artist friends, it's Miss Elliott here, and I'm going to be talking about tinting and shading today. I would like you to follow along with me, but what you need to follow along is paint. If you have liquid paint, that would work best. You could try it with watercolors. I have not tried it with watercolors. Feel free to try it and let me know how it turns out. But you need little containers, or you could use paper plates, something that you could throw away. If you don't have any containers, you need black paint, white paint, and then you need some other color. This is, I'm gonna make orange. You could use a secondary color like orange, or you could use a primary color. It doesn't matter what the color is, just make sure it's not black or white. Or a shade or a tint, like, so no pink or light orange or anything like that. So just make yellow. Let me mix this up really, really good. I put the red on the bottom, so it's having a little trouble mixing. Let me get a paintbrush, that might mix a little bit better. There we go, that's better. Nice orange. All right, so tinting, hopefully you enjoyed the little tiny song I put on my canvas page to help you understand what tints and shades are. Tints make a color lighter and shades make a color darker. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure you take your original color. Oh, sorry, let me explain this. Here's the worksheet that comes with it. I have attached it on the canvas. If you don't want to print it out, you don't need to. Just follow along with the video, or just look at it as you're doing the directions. Feel free to try to do this. I had my 5th graders try to do this on their own without my help. Since you guys are older artists now, I hope you could do this on your own. So you could stop the video and try it on your own by just printing it out or looking at the directions. But you could just draw this chart. It's got 7 boxes. The original is going to go on the outside and the middle, and the tints and the shades are on either side. But feel free to just draw it on a separate sheet of paper. You're more than welcome to do that, and you're more than welcome to try it on your own. I made it a competition with my 5th graders to see who could do it the best. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, take our original color. So mine's orange. Again, you could use whatever color you want, just not a tint or a shade. So tint or shades are the lighter and the darker ones. But you could do red, orange, or teal, or just one of the primary colors, which is nice and simple. All right, so you want it in that middle so we could see how the white and the black affects the color. All right, we're gonna start with tints. Tints make it lighter. So the first thing I wanna do is, since I'm doing tints and shades, I'm gonna divide my paint into 2 different containers. And I'm gonna use a smaller, I'm gonna use one side for the tint and one side for the shade. Now let me do a little bit more. All right, save this one for the shade. Tint, again, makes it lighter, so bring over your white paint. What you're gonna do is, the first thing is, now that we have an original color, we're gonna take our white and we're gonna dump some of it. You don't wanna dump all of it because we're gonna repeat this process. Take a little of your white. You want about the same amount every single time. So that's why it's a little harder with watercolors, because you can't just dump it and mix it. You're gonna have to take your white watercolor and really work it into your original color, and it's going to be hard to keep doing that over and over again. That's why it's better to have liquid paint for this one. All right, once it's well mixed, you're going to take that sample and you're going to put it right next to the original color. It should change slightly. It shouldn't be a drastic change. If it is, you put too much white in, so you could start over. Here's a little secret. I actually started over because I added too much black when I made my shade. But that's really good. Tint seems to be a little bit easier than shade. Then you want to repeat the process. So I'm going to take my white paint and I'm going to dump about the same amount into my paint. I'm going to mix, 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 mix. Once you've incorporated all that white paint into it, artists, you can take it again. You're going to paint it right next to the first tint. And you're gonna do the whole process one more time. This time I can put my paintbrush in because it's the last time I'm gonna use it. Dump the same amount of white in. Work it through. to do our last tint. So gradually you see it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. If you want to do it again, if you're using your own piece of paper, feel free to take the rest of your white, dump it in, and see what happens. I'm going to put my tints on the side, and now I'm going to do my shades. First thing I'm going to do is rinse out my paintbrush real good. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing with shades. I have my original color, and I'm going to take some black. Now, black is much darker than white, so you want to be careful how much you add. You could always add more, so I'm going to start with a little tiny bit amount, and then I'm going to add more if I don't think it's much difference. I think it's already pretty different. Yeah, that's where I messed up last time. There we go. Yeah, it was just a little bit of black. You saw how much I used, so be careful. All right. And then you're gonna put your shade right there. All right. And do the same thing. I'm gonna make it the same amount. I just did a little bit. All right, and you're gonna work it in with your first shade. All right. On your last one. Same amount. Feel free if you have extra paint. I know it's always fun to mix paint. I know my students were having fun with the leftover paint. See how dark you can make your original color? I'm gonna add all my black in. See how dark it gets. Right, and there's pretty dark. Okay, it probably gets like close to black. The more black you add, it's almost black. Just like if you add a ton of white to it, it would make it almost white. There's so many tints and so many shades. Feel free to take your extra paint and take a piece of paper and play with your tints and shades. Why not, right? Might as well, since we have to throw it away. You could paint a picture with your shade and put your tint right next to it. Oop. Let's see the difference. Wow, look at the difference of that. Feel free to make a picture. All right, well, I hope you got to actually do the artwork instead of just watching Miss Elliott. Feel free to pick up some paint and try this activity if you weren't able to do it. You can get some paint at the dollar store, just some simple paint. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Feel free to make it fancy by going to one of those craft stores, of course, but they can get paints and paintbrushes can get very expensive. All right, I hope to see some of your artwork. Have a great, lovely day. Bye, guys.